Euro, Pound, Aussie, Yen, and USD Swiss. Okay, what I'll do is I'll watch the last sort of 3-4 hours of price action. And if the Euro's doing this, the Pound's doing that, Aussie's doing this, Yen is doing that, Swissy's doing that. Relative strength-wise, Euro's stronger than the Pound, Aussie's as strong as Euro. You know, if I'm doing a relative strength sort of thing, I'd say the US dollar, Euro, Pound, Aussie, Yen, and Swissy. Doing values out of 10 here, 10 being the strongest, 1 being the weakest. Where would I rate the dollar here? Probably a 3, the Euro an 8, the Pound is a 4, the Aussie is an 8, the Yen is a 3, and the Swissy is a 7. What do I want to trade? I want to trade Euro dollar, I want to trade Euro yen, the stuff with the biggest relative strength differential. Then it becomes a matter of figuring out, is that relative strength sustainable or not? Well, you can look at your crosses to determine that. Okay? So relative strength is reactive, but you need to be proactive about it to work out the sustainability of that move. Alright, so that's relative strength. I don't put a tremendous amount of credence into it because I just think it's very reactive. Very reactive. The next thing I like to do, right, once I've figured out what pair I'd like to start with, given all that information we just discussed, now I have a little procedure for myself. Okay, I'm a fractal geometry support and resistance guy. Okay, that's my thing. And fractal geometry is really a highfalutin term for a very simple concept. And I'm simply using the longer-term charts for my direction and then using the shorter-term charts as a shorter-term building block for confirmation of what I'm deducing on the longer-term stuff, right? So by definition, somebody said to me a fractal, if somebody showed you a picture, a whole sort of painting you can stick on a wall, and then somebody showed you a single pixel of that painting, you'd be able to see all the detail in that single pixel as to what you'd see in the entire painting. What I like to do then is go and I'll start with a 15-minute chart. Okay, and I've got a little sequence for myself. Let's start a little 15-minute chart. Then what I'll do on this is I'm asking myself, what is the 15-minute direction? All right, and I'm applying this. Remember our previous webinars about time of day. Okay, so I consider Asia into pre-London as one batch of money flow. In other words, typically speaking, 60-70% of the time, I want to be trading Asia and pre-London in the same prevailing direction. Okay, and I want to be trading the London session into sort of London lunch as one batch of money. I typically don't like to challenge the direction of that session. Okay, and then sort of London lunch into the New York Open as one session of money, and then New York stock market open into sort of the London close as one more batch of money. That's very important to me. Okay, so if Aussie's heading up Asia pre-London, providing it has enough resistance, I'm not going to try and challenge the direction of that. If London says down and we haven't hit support, I'm doing nothing but looking for reasons to short. All right, now, so this is my little sequence. I'll go and I'm breezing over these guys. You realize that this discussion here could take us 45 minutes. Okay, and this discussion about 15-minute chart direction is a 45-minute presentation. All right, so what I'll do here is look for 15-minute direction. Okay, then, and I'm not looking to pick up specifics. I'm not building a trade plan. I'm just gathering direction here. In other words, is this thing going up or is it going down over the last few hours? All right, and you can do that however. I use price action and EMAs. I mean, you can just visually look at it and say, that's up, that's down. All right, then I'll go to the 4-hour chart and I'll do the same. I'll say, what is the direction of this 4-hour chart? Okay, in other words, is this up from a price actionary standpoint or is it down? All right, once again, not looking to build a trade plan. I'm just gathering information. Okay, and it it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to analyze a single currency pair properly. I can probably do it quicker, probably do it in 5 minutes, but to build a trade plan that I feel comfortable with, I feel like I've covered all my bases, I've done all the research, I've looked over every eventuality, I've worked out my risk reward, I've worked out my major turning points, I've got everything in alignment. 15, 20 minutes. So it's different money management, it's different accuracy, it might even be a different sort of a different lot size as I allow for more nimble kind of trading. It's just different trading, but yeah, I'm okay with it. All right, so I'm looking for direction. Then I'll go to a daily chart. All right, and now I also look for the prevailing direction on the daily chart. Okay, now I've been 15-minute, 4-hour, daily. Now I'm looking at daily direction. Now the other thing I say to myself here is, what color is the next candle? What color is the next candle likely to be on this daily chart? And on a Monday, I'll look at the weekly too, and try and work out in generic terms where we're going for that week. What color is the candle going to be on this daily? How many of you actually do that? You go to your daily chart and you say, look, what's likely to be the color of the next candle here? Well, I do some personal mentoring, right? And this is something that I insist that everybody does, is a lot of people have, and everybody's got different resources in terms of monitor real estate and stuff, but a lot of people look at a daily chart and then put it on the shelf for the day. To me, the daily chart should be your most watched chart. And I'm not just talking look at it and put it away. I'm talking have it in your face. Have it up at all times. Be watching it all day. Because the color of that daily candle determines the direction for that trade plan, you understand? So if you're expecting a red candle, that's going to give you, in generic basic terms, the direction of where you want to trade stuff for that day. In other words, it's going to create a bias for you, a trading bias. If you don't enter in I'm a firm believer in biases, massively important. All right, now I start to look, after I've determined what I think the next direction is going to be, I start to think about my levels on this daily chart. In other words, where are major levels of support and resistance? You can do this through whatever technical method you want. I use confluence, I use support and resistance, I use pivots, I use fibs, the whole gambit. Meaning that I'm just trying to get a feel here initially for which way this could potentially go. I'm not necessarily trying to build a trade plan yet. Then I'll look at my different levels. Where are my significant levels of support and resistance? All right, then I'll actually go, now I'm trying to get a little more specific about where I'm expecting major turning points on the market. Okay, because I tend to only want to trade off turning points, not in between. All right, then I'll go from this daily chart and I'll actually go back to a 4-hour. Okay, and what am I doing on the 4-hour chart? I'm now getting more specific. I'm taking this direction I talked about, this direction I try to determine, then I'll go to the 4-hour chart and say, right, what levels are important on the 4-hour? In other words, right, so we're coming down here, going to head up to 70, so I think we're going to roll over, and then where's the next major level of support? It's probably here at 5,300, and then if we can get below that, the next level I have here is at 5250. Right, so I've got a major sell zone here. I've got a shorter term buy zone there. If we can get through that, the next major level of support is down here. I have determined sort of major turning points. So if price is here, you can say, right, where I'd expect to find sellers. I'd expect to find sellers there. I'd expect to find buyers here, and I'd expect to find more sort of buyers down here. Okay, so directionally it's down. Where's my major resistance turning point? Great. It's up here at 70. The buy zone, which I know is a zone where I don't want to be selling, But because I'm bearish, I'm not going to buy it there, right? I'll let it react off there, take the lower high, push it down, etc.